Welcome to the Heidi Thorne Show. I'm your host, Heidi Thorne, and in this podcast, I share my real-world self-publishing and small business experience with you. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to like, comment, share, follow, and subscribe. Now let's get on with today's show. We can make you happy products for your clients' pleasure. Huh? When I was in the promotional products business, I would be contacted by email by a lot of foreign manufacturers. Many of them would include statements similar to the one at the beginning. I knew they were trying to tell me that they wanted to help me serve my clients' promotional needs, but the selection of words and the way they were conveyed makes it awkward and laughable, though it's technically correct in English. To avoid being misunderstood, authors who want to reach foreign audiences or audiences who speak a different language, even if it's in their home country, should consider hiring an editor for what's called localization. However, the investment in this effort needs to be weighed against potential sales. First of all, let's talk about what is localization. Localization is reviewing and editing communications, text, audio, or video to make sure they follow the language standards and idiosyncrasies of the intended audiences. Some of the key issues to be addressed include word usage, unique spellings, idioms, colloquialisms, cliches, and syntax that are unique to the audience. The purpose of this review is to make sure the communication will not offend or be misunderstood or not taken seriously. Localization is primarily done for communications going to an audience that speaks a different language. For example, a brochure translated from Chinese into English that would be distributed to people who speak American English. But it can also be done for variants of the same base language. For example, British English to American English. And that's a question that came up with multiple authors that I did work with who were trying to reach both European markets and the American market with the same book. With more businesses doing business globally, thanks to the internet, this can be a critical function. Ideally, localization edits should be done by a native speaker from the target region or audience. Now let's talk about localization and cultural awareness. When I interviewed for a teaching job to provide computer training to students for whom English was a second language, I was asked to do a classroom demo. My students in the demo were school administrators. In one part of the lesson, I told the students not to monkey around, quote unquote, with certain functions until they were more experienced with the program. One student blurted out that in his country, monkeys are sacred and asked what I meant by monkey around. I realized immediately what he was trying to do. He was testing me to see how I could interpret an idiom in a culturally appropriate way for my audience. In some cases, localization may include deculturing what you say so that you are understood and so that you don't offend your audience. But it's all English, right? I reviewed book manuscripts from the United Kingdom and Australia. I have to admit that sometimes I had to look up word usages to understand what the author was trying to convey. While it is all English, there are differences among the written and spoken versions of it in the United States, United Kingdom, Australia, and Canada. Spelling is one of the more visible differences among the regional versions of English. For example, color in the US is C-O-L-O-R, and in the UK it's C-O-L-O-U-R. One other thing that varies is numbering systems. Metric versus imperial. Metric being meters, centimeters, liters, and imperial being feet, inches, quarts. An English manuscript from outside the US that I reviewed included references to metric measurements, but didn't indicate it was in metric. It completely changed what the author was trying to convey. Like the monkey example, there are also idioms and colloquialisms that can be unique to each region, even in the United States. So even though it's all English, there still could be occasions for misunderstanding. When it comes to Kindle ebooks, localization can be a challenge. When publishing on Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP, authors automatically and usually unintentionally expand their reach to a global audience. Anyone with a Kindle device can read any book offered in the Kindle store. While this offers more opportunities for Kindle authors to earn more royalties and build an international audience, it does present the dilemma of what language or variant of it to use in the book. Though I do get some international sales, what I've found is that most of my Kindle sales come from Amazon.com in the United States, which is my home country. I don't know whether this is due to Amazon's search algorithm for placement of my books, or because I primarily promote to American audiences. Regardless of whether Amazon's algorithms or my promotions are drawing more American readers for my Kindle ebooks, I encourage authors to initially concentrate on localization for their home country and primary fan base. So when should you consider a localization edit? If strong sales are being anticipated or desired from outside your home audience or country, an investment in a localization edit should be considered. For example, because I write nonfiction books on business and self-publishing that are geared for American audiences, I really don't worry about localizing my books for the stray international Kindle sale I'll get. There's not enough income from these foreign markets to justify the expense or effort, and it is expensive. That being said, increasing your awareness of cultural differences can be valuable. It will help you avoid relying on your own local language quirks when writing and create a more culturally neutral work. Some editing tips for localized manuscripts. When I was in the trade show business, my company was going to do a trade show in Hong Kong. As marketing manager for the show, I was tasked with changing the brochure into an English version and a Chinese version. I don't speak Chinese, so I hired a translator, and she asked me, well, what dialect should I use? I don't know. So we had a meeting and we did some research, and we decided that Mandarin was going to be the best fit for this Chinese translation. So she does the translation. She sends me back the manuscript, which of course is in Chinese. I can't read this. She asks me, well, did you proof it to make sure it was right? I don't even know what I'm looking at. So we had some of our partners in Hong Kong look it over before we went to press with the brochure. And that's what you should do too. You should have another trusted partner in addition to your editor that knows the language, might be a native speaker of the translated language, to make sure that the editor did their work. So you really have to hire a couple of people, and that can get expensive. So you need to make sure that it's worth the investment. Hope you found that helpful, and if you did, please rate, review, and subscribe to The Heidi Thorne Show on whatever podcast app you like to use. I'm on all the major ones: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, you name it, I'm probably on it. Like the YouTube video better? You just have to subscribe to my Heidi Thorne YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so you get an alert when a new video is available. I would appreciate it if you would share either the audio podcast or the video with your friends on social media. My self-published books, which are written in American English, are on Amazon.com, Audible, and Apple Books. All you have to do is type in my name, Heidi Thorne, on any of those sites, and a list of all the available books will be listed there. If you'd like to connect with me, my website is HeidiThorne.com, and on social media, you can find me on Instagram or TikTok at Heidi Thorne. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. I'll look forward to talking with you again in the next episode, and in the meantime, have a great day.